Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into this show today. So today's episode, we were talking about credit card strategies, specifically the trade-offs of going after maximum value versus passing on some of those network benefits like protections and purchases insurance. And we'll walk through my own example with an $800 MacBook Pro repair bill in the process. Of course, that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, as we said, and as you're well aware, I play cashback pretty hard, and the goal here of these channels is always to look for different earning potentials, earning strategies, right? You're familiar with many of them, whether, picking multiple cards, going after intro offers, stacking gift cards together to earn maximum value on purchases, especially larger purchases. The problem you run into sometimes is that the strategy either runs itself towards maximum earnings or it can run itself towards like maximum protection. You have things like purchase protection, extended warranty protection that are known as network benefits, right? So Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover doesn't offer anything, but those are your payment networks. And these are called network benefits. Then the bank, who's issuing the credit card, can actually choose to use these benefits, offer them to the customer or not, right? They're definitely broken up. Usually the more expensive the card, like an Amex Platinum or something like that, has better benefits. A Sapphire Reserve with CDW, for example, travel insurances. The more expensive the card, generally the better the protections. Or longer they may last, warranties, something like that. Which is counter because generally the higher the earning card, weirdly enough, especially in cashback space, the higher earning cards often are free and they come with some benefits for sure, but they might not last as long or be as good as the expensive ones. So you kind of end up at this, you can choose one side of it. Now, I'm not deep diving any specific insurance policies or things like that here. This is more of an example and give you something to think about as you go. So that's kind of the setup for this one to show how these are at odds and how you can, try to make your decision. So story time, and then we'll get back to the credit cards. If you're a frequenter of the show, you might notice that the backdrop here, which is just my monitors, is different. It's a different, wallpaper. And you could just say like, well, hey, maybe he got sick of it. About time he put the black one on. But no, normally what I do, because I'm not really a creative or picture taker, I pick the hero shot, the thing that comes on the background, on the box art. So if this is the 16 Pro Max, this is the wallpaper that comes on the box. This is now an M4 MacBook Pro 16-inch. This is, as you can see, what comes on the box. And that's what I do. I change it whenever I get a new computer, unless there's a really cool one that I see. So yes, we got a new MacBook. Totally unnecessary, but what had happened was my M1 MacBook Pro, which was here, and that was the red background because that was what they went with in the box art last time. Interesting enough, when they went from M3 to M4, they did not update the wallpaper, which is odd, and not really important. So that one, it died. The battery died, so I was like, whatever, I'll charge you when I get home. Pull it out of your backpack, and all of a sudden, it won't take a charge. Not through any Thunderbolt port, not through MagSafe. Nothing. Messed around with it for a good 2 hours. Finally conceded, took it to the Apple store. I did have Apple Care, but Apple Care expired like 3 or 4 months ago, of course. Anyhow, had it since 2020 or 2021, whenever those M1s came out. And they're like, yeah, we can probably fix it for you. We'll ship it off. They'll ship it back to you. $800 or about $750, $800, something like that. Fantastic. So what brought me this topic is that the guy, who was very nice, was, to diffuse the situation. They're probably taught to saying, hey, go, call your credit card company, check with your homeowner's insurance, because it's a large repair bill. But there's still plenty of life left in the computer. To do that, to see sometimes they can, do something for you, and he gave me all the documentation, everything. So the computer at the time of taping was actually only gone for 3 days. I didn't need to buy these. I just wanted it because it's black and it's faster. It's a whole thing, right? But anyhow, so that's what got me thinking about this topic, because I was like, how did I buy this computer? And it turns out 4 years ago, I actually made a video on how I bought the computer, and wouldn't you know it, I think I bought a bunch of Apple gift cards to get 5% back. I think I used all my Freedom cards to go buy Apple gift cards, then I bought the computer, which at the time was the best strategy I've had. I've got some better cards that I can choose from now, but as you can see where we're going with this, while it was nice of him to say that, if there's no purchase protection or extended warranty protection on, things like gift cards, unfortunately. So had I used something like, assuming I'd used the correct card, like a platinum card, maybe, again, I'm not doing a deep dive with insurances, but, you could make the argument, well, Apple Care, because normally they add on extended warranty after the manufacturer's one, expires, or they have different protections like that. Maybe they look at AppleCare as still a manufacturer's warranty because they're the ones manufacturing. I don't know. I didn't get into all that, but it could have extended it and saved you $750, $800, which is not insignificant. I mean, the computer will still work fine. I mean, I'll probably just like flip it or pass it on to my folks or something, but and that's kind of the hang up here. Had you chosen to use a card with a good network benefit, assuming you had the right card, then you could potentially have, avoided paying $750, $800. Again, sometimes there's caps on the repair bills and things like that, but anyhow, so when you're going through it, here's just some things to think of in mind. Do I want to get maximum value? Do I want to get network benefit? The strategies in place are generally, do you get an intro offer? Buying something expensive like a computer could definitely hit a good intro offer. Using just a high multiplier card. For me now, had I done to do this and get it offline, I use my Bank of America customized cash card, which as Platinum Honors gives me 5.25% back on online purchases, right? Do that and then just pick it up in the store. I literally stood there, did it, to get it online pickup, waited, and they just brought it out to me. Look, it works, right? But that's 5.25% back, right? Still pretty good. Or of course, we can stack gift cards up, which is still getting 5% back usually. Those are maximum earnings. And in the moment, that definitely does help. So some things you want to consider, I think, in his personal opinion, are like, what are you buying? What is the replacement cost? How often does it break? And are you going to buy additional insurance? Because, if you're going to buy AppleCare, which I did have AppleCare, it just expired, and things do expire, there's not much you can do about it. But if you're going to buy AppleCare, then I think you're fine to use the earning the most points, because you are effectively buying insurance anyways. So you really don't need that insurance, because it wouldn't make sense to pay for AppleCare but also be relying on your extended purchase. The other thing to take a look at is who's providing the insurance and what is their process. So for example, again, if you want AppleCare on the phone, they're a little bit easier to deal with, but you could be using a credit card that you don't have the extended warranty protection, but you pay the bill with a credit card. It does provide you a level of cell phone coverage as well. That's also an option. But sometimes the downside of those programs is that they don't replace you with a new phone. Like, you would like them to just say, here's your new phone. But they don't do that because in their mind, your phone's not new anymore, so why would you get a new phone? You get a refurb or something like that. Some people have problems with that, and they would actually prefer to just buy a new one themselves, for example. As where Apple, they used to just give you a new one. I don't know if they do that anymore. I think I've actually seen them try to repair phones now versus just giving you a new one. I mean, if it's totally smashed, of course, they replace screens and batteries and stuff. So there's that option as well, just something to consider. How often do you replace the device? Computer, I don't really replace that often, honestly. A lot of the new AI features and stuff that I use to make the color look a little bit better here, make the audio look a little bit better, was starting to get a little bit taxing on the M1. It was livable by far. Don't get me wrong. This is definitely an indulgence more than anything else. I'll be the first one to tell you that. But phones, I do replace every year. So even if it took a ding or something, it's not going to be that long before I get a new one, right? Do I need a new one? No, that's another argument. And another thing I always think about is, well, if I were to put AppleCare on every single device I had, I mean, we're talking about studio displays, an iPad, the computer, the phone, the headphones. I mean, it also ends up being a lot. So what are all these insurance costs going to be versus just replacing one? The likelihood that all of these things break, knock on wood, is low. So really, I don't think there is an answer for a set answer for which one you should do. Should you choose the network benefit or should you go with maximum earnings? Myself, I'm still likely going to go with the maximum earnings route, and then I will add, AppleCare onto the computer. The phone, I don't. The iPad, I don't. Again, knock on wood, but I'll add AppleCare onto something like that because I've never had a MacBook Pro where I didn't need AppleCare. I think 3 of the 4 that I've owned, I've needed a repair within the 4 to 5 year lifespan of the machine. So I'll definitely add it. Of course, this can be applied to much more things other than Apple products. This is just the one top of mind in my personal use case for this. And I do think the bigger you go, it still applies. You want to buy appliances? Well, you can get your Geek Squad coverage. You can look at a home warranty, for example, which would cover some appliances, or you can look at, your credit card benefits. So really, you've got to figure out what you're going to buy, compare them with your card options, with your earning potential, and what your insurance setup is. If you've already got a home warranty, then yeah, I would probably just buy the refrigerator and plug it in, knowing that it now falls under your home warranty. Not everyone has a home warranty, so it's kind of I used to, and like the service sucks, so I dropped it. So again, knock on wood. We're just gonna keep knocking on the table today, apparently. So the last part here is as I do think it's important to highlight things like this when we're trying to, because everything's all fun when you're earning a bunch of points, but then when no one ever comes back and talks about like, hey, that could have gone better had I made different choices, sacrificed some earnings, I could have potentially had more insurance and not had to pay $800, because I did not make $800 off of buying those gift cards. So I think it's fine. It's not really enough to like deter me from doing what I was doing personally. I'm also believe that sometimes your number just get punched and it's just not going to go your way. And that was one of the ways it did not go my way. And also it gave me an excuse to buy a MacBook, even though I think round trip, I should get it back. I'm taping on a Saturday. I should get it back like Monday or Tuesday. So really it was only gone. I dropped it off Friday. So really it was only gone a handful of days, but I just wanted it. It's black. Come on now. So anyways, that's my thought on that overall. So let me know down below how you make the decision. How do you weigh the pros and cons of maximum earning versus network benefits? How do you decide which card to use? What's worth putting insurance on? I would love to hear your thoughts on all of that down below. I think it's a decent discussion, to get going. But anyways, guys, of course, if you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. So we're posting content just like this every single week. And of course, we're right back every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance, and of course every single day over on profitablecontent.com, which is the channel's blog, always linked down below for you, and on the homepage where we have the latest news stories, we have bank promotions, and we have credit card offers, so you can pick one for maximum protection or maximum earnings, or pick both. Why don't you? We've got them all down over there down below for you. Anyways, guys, that'll do it for this one. As always, thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.